here at the half mile.
5 laps down, started 2 weeks ago. Now 2 weeks later, here we are, 75 the run for the Casella Waste Open 80 Modifieds. Lost a few competitors over the last few weeks, but a good, healthy field remained, led by Woody Pitcat off of turn number 4. We are back underway with the Casella Waste Open 80. Pitcat and Hodgson to lead the field back to turn 1.
Pitcat guards the inside lane, but Hodgson is up on the wheel in the outside lane. Meanwhile, quickly moving in to contend on the bottom of the racetrack. This guy is on a roll. Marcello Rafano moves car number. No, it's the 00 now that snuck in. He moves into second. Marcello Rafano drops back to 4 as they hit down the back straightaway.
That's Mike Christopher Jr. who's going to give up that second spot. Hodgson takes it back in car 55. Christopher back to third. Rafano in fourth. Dylan Izzo in the top 5 in that 04 car as they single out toward the front, except in that battle for second. Christopher back to the inside.
It's the Jimmy Page race car on the inside lane. Michael Christopher takes it in at a ton. Meanwhile, in the outside lane, Hodgson, they come off the turn. Now we put the 88 of Marcello Rafano into the mix. 3 cars contending for the same airspace, but it is the 00 up to second. Marcello moves into third. Teddy Hodgson back to 4, and Dylan Izzo in for 5.
Further back, Ronnie Williams, Dana DiMatteo closing up. DiMatteo at 6. Williams challenging for that spot. Had a peek to the inside, but fell back in the line just in front of Tyler Berry, who was also in that pack of traffic. Pastriak stepping out of line in car number 5, looking to gain a spot on, it looks like, Charette, who goes topside in car number 28.
Good battle, mid-pack of cars as they continue to make their presence known. Bassett is right there, challenging white neon car. Another car sponsored by Casella. Directly behind him, moving into contend as well, is the number 51 machine. Back up to the front of the field. Leader, the once commanding lead is all but gone. Woody Pitcat, Michael Christopher, running in his tire tracks. As Christopher comes off the turn like a rocket. .218 separates first and second. Michael Christopher is coming. Woody Pitcat is at the point, but the big question is, for how long?
Less than a car length between the top 2 as they come around and complete lap 13. Pitcat, the winningest driver in open modified competition here at the racetrack with 6 checkered flags, including his latest last August. Finding some pressure now from Mike Christopher Jr., who is also an open modified winner, although had a bit of a larger gap of time to his last win in 2021. So he is hungry to get back to Napa Victory Lane, running in the second spot right now. You see both of those competitors on your screen racing up the back straightaway, working lap number 15 of the resumption of the Casella Waste Open 80. Down to the line they come, and it's still Pitcat.
Last circuit by, Michael Christopher had narrowed it up. Christopher tested the waters just a bit. Woody Pitcat shook him off, and Pitcat continues still to dominate. Further back in the field, that battle with Pastriak, the number 5 car. Then it's Bassett, the 1 car. All of those are working at the bottom of the top 10. Back up front, Woody Pitcat. Little cat and mouse action, as it appears that Pitcat can pull away, but Christopher has the advantage to reel him back in.
Had a look to the inside for third a moment ago. Rafano and Hodgson getting at it there on your screen, just behind the race leaders, Pitcat and Christopher. What was about a car length between the top 2 has grown just a bit to 3 or 4 car lengths. Woody Pitcat trying to leg it out. Christopher keeping him within arm's reach. Then it's Rafano and Hodgson. Izzo having a good run, unchallenged in the 5th spot right now, just wanting to get a feel of their race cars. For many, it's been a couple of weeks since they've been in them and turned laps, and obviously the conditions have changed a lot then from practice earlier this afternoon.
They certainly have, Kyle, and they didn't get a lot of practice when all of a sudden the skies opened up. Let's look a little further back. Dana DiMatteo Driving the Zarnecki number 20 car, has moved into the 6th position. Ronnie Williams is in 7th. Tyler Berry is up to 8th.
Battle for third off of turn 4. Hodgson gets a run on Marcello Refrano as they go nose to nose back into turn number 1. Hodgson retakes that spot. Refrano looking to retake it back, but gets back in the line within a car length, and also things tightening up front. Pitcat and Christopher. Christopher has reeled Pitcat back in for the race lead.
There's no question. He is again getting closer. 1.127 was the story a while ago. It's now 2.31, but it is Woody Pitcat continuing. But Michael Christopher in his tire tracks as they come off the turn and thunder back to the line. A few years back, Pitcat drove for Jimmy Page and the LeMay operation and had tremendous success behind the wheel of the 00. But now, it is the 00 that haunts Woody Pitcat as the leader of the event in a car that was built by Chassis Pro, designed a little bit different by Cam McDermott, who was doing double duty, came down from New Hampshire, and his dad was calling the shots in the pit area earlier here today.
24 in the books of this 80-lap main event, and it is still a 2-driver fight at the front of the field. Pitcat and Christopher, 1 and 2. Pitcat has led all of the laps of this event, which started 2 weeks ago. He continues to lead here, but the question is, for how long? Because Christopher, a couple of times now since the restart, has fallen back and then closed right back onto his back bumper and does so again off turn 2.
Look at Michael Christopher. Uncle Ted would be proud at that move as Michael Christopher takes over the lead. Lap number 26, second leader of the event. But Woody Pitcat isn't about to give up. Right there with him, Pitcat looks for an opening. Christopher shuts the door, single file, bumper to bumper, back to the line.
Christopher leads that lap now, the last 2 circuits around the Stafford half mile for the 00, and begins to tiptoe away from Woody Pitcat, and now suddenly Teddy Hodgson has come on the scene to make it a 3-way race up front. Hodgson in the 55, reeling in Woody Pitcat for the runner-up spot.
There's no question. The top 3 cars, about the same margin separating first and second and third. Then there's a huge gap. Marcello Refrano back in 4th. Dylan Izzo in 5. Here they come, back to the line. Michael Christopher. Difference between first and second getting bigger. 0.508.
So practice earlier today, air temperature about 95 degrees. Currently, after the front came through and the rain fell at roughly 5 o'clock, the temperature now 71 degrees. About a 25-degree difference from practice to the air temperature that we're racing in right now under the lights here at Stafford. That could affect the setups of these cars and what the teams thought may, or what was going to happen tonight. I don't think anyone expected to be racing in 70-degree weather.
Keep your eyes on Flannery. He is back in the 9th position with a car that is usually driven by Todd Owen. Directly in front of Flannery is the 8N, and that is Tyler Berry, a former champion in the lights here at Stafford. Ronnie Williams is up to 7th, and DiMatteo, car number 20, setting in the 6th spot. Just 8 laps shy of the halfway marker in this event.
That battle for 5th really tightening up, as you mentioned, Ben, with Izzo and DiMatteo as they come back off of turn 4 to complete another lap. Probably the best on the racetrack. Marcello Refrano kind of solidified himself right now in 4th in car number 48. There's Izzo and DiMatteo right now, the 04 and the 20.
DiMatteo looking pretty racy as he starts to reel in on the number 04 machine of Izzo. Back to the front of the field. Christopher, dominant car up front. Times are starting to slow just a bit, but you wouldn't know it. And here comes Teddy Hodgson. reeled in on Woody Pitkat. Several laps ago, this was the bid for the lead, but that was before Michael Christopher came to life with an impressive run down in turn number 3 to take over the lead from Pitkat.
And has since been able to pull away by 0.8 of a second. Pitkat still maintains the second spot. There's Hodgson, that orange numeral number 55 car in third, closing in on Pitkat as he has the last couple of laps, but has not yet made a move. Nick Holkowitz has gone a lap down. He's between Hodgson and Marcello Rafano, who's in the 4th spot. And we said a few laps ago, Marcello was all by himself in 4th. That's not true any longer. Dana DiMatteo has reeled him in.
Dana DiMatteo is coming as you watch them head down into turn number 3. DiMatteo, these guys are buddies off the racetrack, but right now, it's every man for themselves. Marcello Rafano continuing to try to hold on. His car has suddenly loosened up considerably, and that has cost him, as DiMatteo is getting in striking distance, and behind DiMatteo, Dylan Izzo with the 04 machine, followed by the 50 of Ronnie Williams. Williams has not made any aggressive moves as yet, but we are halfway down and halfway to go.
Took 14 days to make this race official, but we are now past the halfway mark with Mike Christopher Jr. leading the charge and opening it up to 0.8 of a second over Woody Pitkat. Hodgson in third, Marcello Rafano fourth, and Dana DiMatteo rounding out the top 5. Then it's Dylan Izzo, Ronnie Williams, Tyler Berry, Anthony Flannery, and Chris Pastriak, the current top 10.
Good racing back through the middle of the pack as well. But now we have just passed the halfway point. Michael Christopher continuing to set the pace. Look out, here comes DiMatteo, car number 20. Slingshot moves to the inside of Marcello Rafano. DiMatteo's got a car sticking on the bottom. Here's the move. Marcello slams the door. DiMatteo on the gas, wheel to wheel and side by side.
To the inside for position number 4, full straightaway behind the race leaders, and it's going to be DiMatteo taking that spot away from Rafano, who is now kicked back to position number 5 as they go back into turn number 1. The leaders are already in turn 3. No real change at the front. It's still Christopher by about 10 car lengths over Woody Pitkat. One more back to Teddy Hodgson. You see them going into turn 1 and around Nick Holkowitz, who is off the pace on the inside of the racetrack. Leaders around safely to the top side. And we are in the final 35 laps of the Casella Way Stadium.
Keep your eyes on Teddy Hodgson. Hodgson, white and neon numeral number 55 car. Woody Pitkat is trying everything. His car is starting to go away. He slips up. Here comes Hodgson. Bonsai move to the bottom. Teddy Hodgson moves back to second. Woody Pitkat all of a sudden settles back into third. He's not happy about that, but 46 laps are complete. Michael Christopher gone at the front of the field.
1.3 seconds last time by as Hodgson took the second spot. See if he's able to close that gap at all. 1.2 seconds, so indeed just a bit quicker as the battle for 5th races off turn 4. Marcello Rafano and Dylan Izzo way out of shape, trying to build a run off of the corner, and up the straightaway is Izzo in that 04. Now Rafano a bit loose in turn 1. Tight racing for position, that is for 5th.
Here comes Dylan Izzo. He's trying to make the move. Same move. Marcello Rafano's fighting an evil race car, but trying desperately to hold on. Dylan Izzo settles back into position, and here comes Ronnie Williams, car number 50, currently running in the 7th spot. But Marcello is able to shake him off. 49, make it 50 when they come back of the 80 in Casella Waste Night here at Stafford.
No real surprise that Dylan Izzo's having a good run here tonight. He finished 3rd in this race a couple of years ago and trying to get another top 5 here. Here he comes to the inside of Rafano for the 5th spot. Rafano's been backsliding these last few circuits. First it was Di Matteo to his inside. Now it's Izzo here on the front stretch.
Izzo makes it look easy on the inside lane. All of a sudden, Ronnie Williams can literally smell blood in the water. He knows that Marcello Rafano's car has suddenly become evil. Here comes Williams. Williams has now moved into the 6th spot. Izzo up to 5. Di Matteo in position number 4.
No change up front, still 1.2 seconds between Mike Christopher Jr. and Teddy Hodgson. Another second or so back to Woody Pitkat in 3rd. That might change soon because there's a bunch of lap traffic ahead, including Keith Rocco, who's about to go a lap down. The next car in front of our race leader, Mike Christopher Jr.
Rocco still struggling a bit in the 14th position. Meanwhile, there's Woody Pitkat, and as you look just ahead of him, you see how much of the margin has changed. But there is the car that is the dominant car. Coming off the turn, heavy lap traffic up ahead. Will this work to the advantage of Teddy Hodgson? Meanwhile, here comes the other battle. The 8 New York Tyler Berry is now trying to move in to the 7th position. And with him, right there is Anthony Flannery in the Chassis Pro machine.
Rafano leads that battle into the corner. Berry and Flannery, Pastriak about to make that a 4-way battle. Bassett also lingering there, 5 car lengths back in position number 11. This race from 7th on back up the back straightaway, yet on the same straightaway as the race leader, Mike Christopher Jr. There's a pass for position.
Yep, Tyler Berry makes it work. Here comes Anthony Flannery. Flannery moves to the inside, picks up the spot. Pastriak looking for the same opening, car number 5. And there is Bassett in the Casella Waste number 1 that Ted Anderson owns.
Bassett and Pastriak now racing for position. Pastriak in 10th, Bassett in 11th. Don't look too far behind this battle because you're going to see the leader, Mike Christopher Jr. There he is.
Trouble now.
That
Rafano, get ready. The once impressive margin that Michael Christopher had. And now he's got to build it all over again. Christopher. Here comes Pitkat. Slides to the inside. Hodgson on the outside. And look at the outside lane with the number 20 of Dana Di Matteo.
Di Matteo and Izzo side by side, tight racing from 4th on back. They're stacked up 2 wide, 5 rows deep. Bassett in the middle of that, Pastriak in the middle of that, 3 wide. Williams goes around in turn 2.
Williams goes. Doug Colby drove for these guys in the open shows, and he had tremendous success with these 2 independent runners.
Rain is up, we are back underway. And they are dead even at the start-finish line with Christopher and Pitkat inside and out. Inside lane advances. Christopher back to the front. Here comes Teddy Hodgson now to challenge Pitkat for the runner-up spot just in front of Dana Di Matteo.
Look at Teddy Hodgson digging in deep at the bottom of the racetrack. Teddy Hodgson, Woody Pitkat, sinking it in ton down into turn number 1. Side by side, wheel to wheel. Hodgson by a chrome horn, as the old saying goes. Off the turn, at the line. Timing and scoring still shows Pitkat there, but Hodgson has taken over position number 2.
And as they race for the 2nd spot, it's really allowed Mike Christopher Jr. to break away at the front by about 7 or 8 car lengths. 6/10 last time by, 8/10 this time by, with Pastriak off the pace of the 5. Remember, we believe it was Pastriak that made contact a couple laps ago over in turn number 2 with Williams. Not sure if there's any damage to that car, but he is slow in turn 2, but we'll stay under the green flag.
Keep your eyes also on Bassett. in the number 1 car. He has come to life.
Very out of shape in turn 2.
Oh, yep, he goes up the hill, gathers it back, but he loses several positions and a lot of momentum. All of a sudden, Marcello Ruffano gets a second win, and Ruffano has now moved in. We got another caution.
Got a car to the inside of the racetrack on the backstretch. It's Chris Pastriak in the 5, and you see he's come to a stop right at the base of our camera position to the infield of turn number 3. And we saw him and Dana DiMatteo in row 2. Here they come off of turn 4, back under the green flag.
Back to the stripe they come. Dead heat down into turn number 1 at the entrance. But off turn 2, Michael Christopher, like he was shot out of a cannon. Christopher in command. Here comes Pit Cap. Hodgson in the upper groove. And Woody Pitcat trying everything to take over that second spot. Can't do it.
Went way to the bottom of the racetrack, but fell back in the line in turn number 1. Did Pitcat on Hodgson, and again, Christopher gets away at the front from 4th on back. Make that now 3rd. Here's Ruffano to the outside of Pitcat. Marcello Ruffano from the back toward the front. He is now among the top 3 in car number 48. Dylan Izzo fading in the outside lane. He's going the other way in the 04. Was among the top 5, and now is just trying to hang on to the top 10.
Look at Marcello Ruffano. High side, inside. Was involved in the spin, went to the back, came to the front, stopped on the racetrack. He's up to 2nd. And here comes George Bissett Jr. in Teddy Anderson's Casella number 1 car.
Bissett coming to the front. It is go time as we are getting toward the final stage of this event. Down to 12 to go this time by. Can anybody catch Mike Christopher Jr. is the question. They're going to run out of time here pretty quick now with a 1.3-second gap between the race leader and this second pack of traffic led by Marcello Ruffano in the runner-up position.
Here comes Bissett. Bissett moves underneath Hodgson. Bissett now has worked his way into the 3rd spot. Hodgson tucks it back in the line in 4. Woody Pitcat in 5. Dana DiMatteo is in 6. Ronnie Williams back up to 7.
Williams just moving around Dana DiMatteo, Nick Selva, and Anthony Flannery. Keith Rocco rounding out the top 10, all separated by about 4.5 seconds on the racetrack. They continue to chase Mike Christopher Jr. You're watching the battle from about 7th or so on back, a little further up in the order. There's DiMatteo, who is running in 7th. Salva and Flannery just ahead of them. Williams in that 50 car looking to move around Woody Pitcat in the number 8. That's the race for 5th.
There is Williams to the inside. Williams has now moved into the top 5. Darting out of line, car number 19. That, of course, is Nick Salva. Salva turning in a good run in one of the Jensen cars, now into the top 8. 8 laps remaining. No one appears to be stopping Michael Christopher Jr. He has the field covered here tonight. Marcello Ruffano, the comeback kid, the pride of Italy, setting in 2nd. George Bissett Jr. in 3rd. Here comes Williams working over Hodgson.
Hodgson in 4th, Williams in 5th. Here's Williams back to the inside in turn number 2, looking to take that spot away, trying to build a run to the inside. Hodgson a bit stronger in the outside lane in car number 55 with 6 laps to go. It's still Christopher, but this battle is the best on the speedway for 4th. Hodgson, Williams, outside and in up the backstretch.
Williams now in the top 5. Still 5 circuits to go when they come off turn number 4. Meanwhile, Williams trying to close up the gap on Bissett, but the clock is
Caution,
ticking.
maybe. Here's
Yes.
set. Ronnie Williams, Teddy Hodgson. Don't count out any of those top 5. Off turn 4 they come. Green flag is back up, and Christopher gets gone at the point. Williams about runs over Refrano in the outside lane as they race to turn number 2, and it's going to be Christopher, Bissett, and Hodgson.
Meanwhile, keep your eyes on that 4th position. The situation is heated with Williams on the inside, Marcello Refrano on the outside, and Woody Pitkat is there. Back up front, here comes Teddy Hodgson. Hodgson tries to sneak it down low. Bissett continues to dig and dig hard in the upper lane.
And for the first time tonight, Pitkat falls out of the top 5, running in 6th, and trying to rebound here to the inside of Refrano for 5th. Hodgson and Bissett for the second time by battle it out for 2nd. And we're coming off of turn 4 to 2 to go for the race leader, Mike Christopher Jr., who has a half-second advantage over this scramble from 2nd on back.
Bissett loose now, coming off that 4th turn. But down into 1, he continues to hold on. Refrano fighting off the pressures of Woody Pitkat. That's a bid for the 5th spot. This time off turn number 4, white flag is out. No surrendering in the battle among the top 5.
Mike Christopher Jr. out front into turn 2 for the final time in this Casella Waste Open 80, looking for his first Open Modified win since May of 2021. He leads into turn 4 for the final time.
Off turn number 4, Jimmy Page's LeMay prepared race car for Michael Christopher to take down the victory. George Bissett, great run to finish in 2nd. Ronnie Williams came back for 3rd. Teddy Hodgson to finish in 4th. Early leader Woody Pitkat for 5. An impressive run for Nick Salva in the Jensen number 19 for 6.